Yeah. Put the cameras on me.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Live from Koreatown on a balmy winter's day in Southern California. This is the OZone. Back for more, ladies and gentlemen. We're sorry that we left you hanging high and dry, but I had to go work on my tan in Havana, Cuba. And boy, oh boy, was that a wild trip. That was a stone groove.
Had a good time, huh?
You know what? I had a life-changing time. It was an incredible experience. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother from the same mother, Mr. Terry Miller. How are you today?
I'm great.
How'd the traffic treat you?
I took the train.
Good call. Good call, bro.
Especially since it's supposed to start raining in a little while.
Yeah, and that's actually
And
why
I want no part.
I'm having a very, very long day, is because they changed my shooting schedule, and I wasn't supposed to work today, and instead I got to go to Malibu at 4 in the morning.
Nice.
And now I'm going to give you Intelligent Tony. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to cover. It's been a long time. We kind of just sat out on purpose because, do you smell it? That's the fresh cut grass. It's almost time.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Is it with the crowd or to the crowd?
I think it's with, you go with the crowd. You don't go to the crowd.
Sometimes.
That's the remix, ladies and gentlemen. That's the cameras on him. That's the icons. Anywho.
With peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
And it's just one. It's singular. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
Really?
Yeah. It's a weird song.
I'm going to have to check it.
No, check my files.
I'm going to check your files.
Yeah, this has been, let's just start out the top because we don't want to hit you guys with an 8-hour podcast. We're going to start quick, and bless you, Ernie. We're going to start quick, and then we're going to keep going, and we'll get another one out to you quick again so that we don't have to sit here all night. So we got a lot to cover. Like we said, baseball is happening. They're swinging the stick right now in Arizona and Florida, and I can't get enough of it. And matter of fact, I think I might watch baseball all day tomorrow. And then we have a new kid made some noise this weekend in the world of tennis. I'm very happy about that. But I want to start with where we were this weekend. Let me set the stage for you. The Los Angeles Forum of Inglewood is known as the City of Champions Inglewood, and the Fabulous Forum was where Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ran amok in the NBA.
I mean, showtime.
Forget about it.
I hated them.
Don't come unless you want to get blown
It was so
out.
ugly.
It was ugly. They made it ugly on everybody. Now you name your favorite all-time hoop player, and they got beat in the Forum in the finals probably.
You know, and I watched that special with Shaq and Kobe, and they felt like they could beat Magic and
Of course,
Kareem.
they have to say that. They it's like they didn't watch.
Yeah.
Kobe's arrogant enough to believe it, and the Diesel's crazy dominant. There's no stopping the skyhook.
He can't stop it. Kareem will foul him out.
There's no stopping the skyhook.
Kareem runs the floor all the time.
And Magic Johnson, there's no answer for Magic.
And who do they have to answer? James Worthy.
You know what? That actually might be one of their stronger positions, right?
Who?
Because if you're taking a team when they had Karl Malone.
Malone didn't do anything while he was here?
Malone didn't do anything while he was here.
Malone didn't mess with nobody.
I mean, apparently he did mess with somebody, and that was part of the fear. They were
He messed with too many somebodies.
It's the problem. But yeah. So Saturday night, thanks to HBO Boxing, we witnessed a wonderful card. We'll start with a bout for an interim belt between Carlos Cuadras, who actually beat the Thai homie in a fight somehow or another. I don't know how, but he beat him at one point. And now we spoke about this in advance, and, I am on record on Twitter saying that I thought that McWilliams Aurora was going to beat Carlos Cuadras. Mm-hmm. And if for nothing else, because the last couple times we watched Cuadras fight, the first time we watched him fight was against Chocolatito, and he just took too much punishment.
He always takes too much punishment.
Then we watched him fight again in New York on that Danny Jacobs Triple G card.
He took too much punishment.
And he took too much punishment. He needs to go do something else.
And what did he do this Saturday?
Took punishment.
That's his card. That's his calling card.
First of all, I thought the title fights had to be
12 rounds.
12 rounds, but I guess not. I don't know. and maybe it wasn't for a title. I thought it was for a title. Maybe it wasn't for a title. But the Puerto Rican McWilliams Arroyo, we'll say that 10 times fast. The Puerto Rican McWilliams Arroyo came out and he established his dominance, and he also established that he wasn't scared of Quadras. Quadras caught him once early and gave him the jelly leg.
But he gave him so much in the first round. He gave Quadras so much in the first round. He beat the crap out of him. Quadras didn't even have any legs after
the second round.
I mean, he was a wet noodle.
He was a wet noodle out there, and I think it may be time, honestly, for him to think about doing something else, because even though he's a little man, and it seems like the little man gets, we're talking about guys that weigh 112 pounds.
They throw like 100 punches around.
Yeah, and yet it seems like this time, I don't know, it didn't feel like, it felt like more the end of something than the beginning or the continuing of a career per se. But he always gives a good fight. I will say that. He'll always be able to get a fight because he always gives his all.
And then you don't have to worry about
out.
And then you don't have to worry about him taking your belt.
You don't have to worry about him taking your belt.
Mm-hmm. So you can throw him in there. It's like, hey, man, why don't you fight Quadras?
Yeah, and he has a name because he's been in there with Chocolatito.
Right.
He's been in there with Sora Rexungdai, a.k.a. the Thai homie. But the reason I cover that is because the fight actually wasn't spectacular, because I felt like Arroyo pretty much dominated from beginning to end.
He pushed him all around. He played bully ball.
He ran him all through the club.
He did.
But then the problem I had was, once again, they gave us classic boxing. One of the cards...
Dirty card out there.
Come on, man. One of the cards had the fight a draw.
95-95, right?
95-95.
Where were you? They took a break.
Where were you? You didn't watch that fight, because I watched. And it was much more in line with the other scores, which were 98-92 and 97-93. I mean, it was an 8-2 fight.
Yeah.
It may be. You're giving him love, giving him two. I gave him one round for sure.
I gave him one round for sure. That's when he jelly legged him. But other than that, I couldn't give him more than one round.
So what is going on with the judges? And then
what's going on with the judges.
Speak on it.
They're dirty.
Wow.
They're on the take.
But who is it? Is it? And it's got to be such small cheese. I can't imagine it's any kind of,
I mean, do you think that they just do it for controversy or what?
No, well, I can't believe that, because I think it runs people away more so than it invites fans in, because the fans turn on you at that point. And there's always something. It doesn't take much, and you have to believe it has something to do with gambling, because what they try to avoid is a unanimous decision. It seems like all the time they're trying to avoid a unanimous decision.
And maybe that's why you have even rounds now.
Maybe so. I don't know. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. But let's go to the main event. And what we all came to see was
the Thai homie
versus Juan Francisco Estrada, the Mexican's finest, and he came to play.
Both of them came to play.
This was a great fight.
I think it was the best fight of the year so far.
Definitely. When you have a fight of the year candidate already in February, that's a good sign for HBO boxing.
Right.
It's a good sign for the state of boxing in general. What I can say is certainly it was the round of the year. Talking about that last round.
Oh.
Now, what's interesting is if you have listened to the podcast or if you've watched the matches, Srisa Kid Sora Rungsvizai, it's very difficult to say, so I call him the Thai homie. And when me and my brother watched him fight in New York City, he came out against Chocolatito and hit Chocolatito square in his heart. And we watched Chocolatito fall in the second round in slow motion. I mean, it was like...
He couldn't even believe it himself. He's like, am I falling?
What's going on here?
I'm on my back. Dude, have you seen my...
And what he did after that is he stood in the pocket because Chocolatito threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, but the Thai homie is very, very crafty. He's dirty.
He's dirty.
He's
not
sneaky
crafty.
dirty.
He's dirty. He's calculatedly dirty.
Yeah, and
he's not out of control dirty.
No.
He's
like,
under control
He's like a
dirty.
pitcher that throws at you, but he's throwing at you on purpose, but he does it in the vein of, I lost my grip.
Control. Yeah, I lost my grip on that one.
Yeah. No, he's dirty. He headbutts. He does all the little tricks that you watch him. He pulls the fighters down by the back of their neck, and, he presses down on them. He does everything, all the little dirty tricks that it takes to win to get you out of yourself.
Yeah. And you brought up a great point at the fight is that Estrada had a great game plan going.
He did.
And lay it on the people, brother. Speak on it.
Well, no, he had a great fight plan, which was swim, move, bounce in and out. But your man, the Thai homie, turned the tide on him because he made calculated moves inside of the fight, which early. He went to his body. After the third round, you could see that Estrada's game plan was working, but the Thai homie said, you know what?
I need to slow him down.
Yeah, I need to slow him down. I'm going to invest in his body and make him move in slow motion. He went to work on his body and had him in a fetal position around the 6th or 7th round.
And it's interesting because he won all of the middle rounds, if you ask me.
All of the middle rounds.
From 4 to 10 was all Thai homie. I would say, if anything, Estrada checked his chin. Once again, we have a caller who actually sent me a tweet that said, hey, the steel chin is fighting next. Are you at the fight? And it's the truth. This guy has maybe the greatest chin in boxing.
He has a great chin.
Chocolatito checked his chin. Estrada checked his chin, man. Estrada hit him hard.
I feel like Estrada fought him better than Chocolatito.
I agree.
Estrada showed so much heart. I mean, he was in trouble a lot in that fight. And he stood tall and he stood there and he
didn't have on his
weathered
back.
the storm.
And what happened was, it was a couple times. One thing that I saw, and I would take this in general for every weight class, unless you have that one-hitter power, which some of the big boys have and some of the middle guys have. But what he did was he peppered him with combinations. And there was a lot of some very nice technical fighting going on. Lift his head up with the uppercut, then come overhand with the hook, then come with the straight.
And that southpaw was giving him a problem.
The southpaw seems to give everybody a problem, especially when it's coupled with the dirty play.
Right.
Because what happened was, the times he got his chin checked and he got in trouble, he gave you the Dawson immediately. He gave you the Street Fighter and went straight to, right afterwards, he went straight to the headbutt.
And he gets you out of your character.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, man,
great character.
My nose is broken. Yeah.
And then he went to work on you, because what he did was that he went right back to the body.
He stood tall.
And got him to slow down again.
And it's just his ability. It's kind of like when you watch Gennady fight, his ability to watch the fighter, to look at a fight, when you watch the fight, his ability to take the other puncher's best punch and not show whatever pain that he's actually in.
Right.
Because even when he gets hurt, he doesn't look wobbled.
I've only seen Gennady wobbled, not even wobble, but hurt once, and that was when Canelo did it the last time.
There was a nice body shot.
But he just kept moving forward.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the Thai homie does the same thing.
Yeah.
He was off balance. You saw that he was a little shook, but he didn't give into it. He was like, no. You know what? You can look at him and see that he has so much heart, and he's coming from a background that he's just not willing to go back to.
He will not break. He'll bend. He will not break.
He's saying to himself, you know what? I'm not going to give.
I'd rather die.
Yeah, I'd rather die out here.
I'd rather die out
both
here.
of those guys look like that.
They sure did.
Because Estrada looked great.
Guys, I'm trying to tell you, if you didn't watch it, go back, go to HBO Go, HBO Now, watch this fight. This was a fantastic fight. And
From 1 to 12.
And the fight was close. You couldn't really tell. You could tell that the Thai homie was ahead, but especially with exactly what we were talking about, with the way that the scoring works and so on and so forth.
Well, yeah, because you thought that he won. You thought that your boy won the 12th round. I thought that the Thai homie won the 12th round.
Well, truth be told, the 12th round was all-out warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this
Toe-to-toe.
is toe-to-toe action. You can't ask for anything more from either one of these guys.
3 minutes of funk. It was just like
from the opening bell to the closing bell, these guys gave it all they had. They laid it all out. And if you didn't see it, just go back and look at it. This was really, really special. And we actually sat next to one of the kids who potentially the Thai homie could fight next, which will be interesting. Another Eastern European cat. I think
he's gonna give him a problem.
I think he's gonna beat him. Actually, I think that kid's gonna beat him.
I don't know if he's gonna beat him, but he's like he's a lot like Gennady.
He's a lot like Gennady, and also watching him watch the fight was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Because he's absorbing, he's taking it all in.
He's got pop, by the way.
He has a lot of pop.
He has pop, and he stands tall.
But one of the problems is that what I like about the Thai homie, because nobody gives him credit, is that he makes adjustments during the fight.
Yes.
And he's above average fighter. He's above good. He's a little bit above good, but not great.
Yeah.
And
just enough.
But he's not great because he cheats.
He cheats. He's
And
dirty.
and if he gets
Trying
caught,
to catch me riding dirty.
but if he gets caught cheating, he's gonna lose points, which is
And
gonna
he's
put
gonna
him
lose
in
the fight.
and he's gonna lose the fight because it's gonna put him in a situation where he's gonna have to knock somebody out. Not to say that he can't though, because he has thump.
As Chocolatito found out.
He took Chocolatito's heart the first fight.
You think?
I know.
I don't know, bro.
Chocolatito came out the second time, and he didn't even look like he was there to win. He gave me the Roy Jones where he was there to try to survive.
Yeah, but from what I understand, I didn't know this before, but he lost his lifetime manager. His manager. What do you mean it doesn't matter? It does matter. His manager died. This is a big deal.
Okay, but it doesn't matter though because he didn't die that night.
Yeah, but this is the coldest I've ever heard you. This is a
No, it's the truth. He still had to go through training and everything. If he couldn't fight in between that, then he shouldn't have took the fight. He should have called the fight off. If he couldn't step out there and give his best.
But you know good and well that no boxer's going to call the fight off.
Well, then there's no excuses.
Okay, well then there it is. Manny Pacquiao got served up with the bum shoulder, and
He
there was
did.
no excuses.
There wasn't no excuses. He should have called the fight. He should have stopped. Shouldn't have took everybody's money like that.
Call the fight when you got $200 million on the line.
You can say, "Hey man, I got a tear in my shoulder. I can't chunk him like I used to. Give me like 6 months. I'll be back."
Not enough. It's not enough.
7.
I need this 2 tonight. I need this 2 right
Would you
now.
believe?
Go ahead. Go ahead and beat me up there, dude. It's cool. And all the people who bet on me, it's fine. Yeah, and so I don't know. I'm very interested in seeing where he goes, and I'm not even crazy for little man boxing, but this is interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the little man boxing either because they have to throw too many punches to put somebody on their back usually.
Speaking of which, we saw a very not little man at the fight.
And that dude is.
You didn't even know that he was a
I thought he was a bodybuilder.
You thought he was a bodybuilder.
I thought dude was a bodybuilder. This dude's a heavyweight. I mean,
Big baby,
come on,
ladies
dude.
and gentlemen. We're talking about Jarrell Miller, and he's fighting out of Brooklyn, and he's going to be fighting. He's fighting at the end of March, I do believe.
I got to watch him fight because I've honestly never watched him fight.
He's a giant, so he's got some stamina issues.
Yeah.
He's got crazy thump. He needs a little bit more fundamental work, but I'm rooting for the kid. I love to see American heavyweights.
Yeah, and
because I am one.
Yeah, but he had a great attitude too when you meet him because a lot of those guys are like, we
feeling themselves.
Yeah, and we met a few of the fighters that are sort of mean, which you need to be mean to be a, you know who I'm talking about.
Speaking of
I'm
which,
scared to say his name because he might be waiting outside. I'm just playing. Come on, Crusher. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a funny story for you. So, we went to the Kovalev Andre Ward fight, both of them. We go to the first one. Dre'd out. Dre comes back. He wins the fight. It's a little, it's suspect. This and the other. We get back on the mic. We have to pick who we're gonna pick. T says, "I'm going with Andre Ward." I was like, you know what? I think I have to go with Kovalev on this one. The Crusher's mean. All right. A couple years before, I saw Sergey Kovalev on a flight back from Vegas after a fight, and I think it was a Mayweather fight. And I saw him on the it was that Cotto Canelo fight. And I saw him on the plane on a Southwest flight. And on Southwest, you pick your own seat as per your seat number. So I got on the plane and I get the business select so that I can sit in that seat with no seat in front of you. Everybody flies Southwest knows the Southwest special. Very tall dude. I need that seat. I sit there. Joe Torre's on the flight. People wearing Joe Torre out. I'm like, oh, wow, Joe Torre's here. That's crazy. I see the Crusher get on. Now, at this time, the Crusher's undefeated, and he's just knocking people out left and right. I see him get on. He walks by me, and he eyeballs me. And I said, oh, what's up, man? He said, he just kind of grunted and walked by like I was in his seat. And I was like, all right. So then we cut to the Triple G Canelo fight. Kovalev has since been knocked out by Andre Ward in the second fight. He's kind of back down to earth. Nobody knows what the future of him is.
Sitting right across from us.
Has the allure worn off because now he's no longer Crusher invincible, blah, blah, blah. Sitting right across from us. He turns on his Instagram live and must have lived Instagrammed me for about 10 minutes. He just kept the camera on me. And he was like, hey, man.
It was Love Zone. He was in the Love Zone.
He was in the Love Zone. Kovalev was a total fan. It was all love. I was like, sir, what's up, baby? Yeah.
Oh, man, what's up?
They cheated you, dog. It's all good, sir.
I picked you.
It was love. Cut to Saturday night at the Forum. Saturday night at the Forum. We go to the Forum Club. There's a place where famous people hang out at every venue so that they can avoid the crowd when it's time to either come or go. So after the fight, we're in that spot, and Kovalev's leaving, and he's about to walk by. I say, hey, what's up, Crusher? He goes, he walks by.
I'm back. I must
Once
break
again,
you.
he didn't know who I was. And what's hilarious is that somebody else had put a picture up of me, another boxer, and 8-time world champion, women's boxer, Jelena. And somebody commented and was like, at least you knew who Omar was, unlike the Crusher. I was like,
Why'd you want to put that out there?
Anywho, yeah. So we got a bunch of great fights coming up this weekend. We got a great fight coming up, and I'm very excited about it. And
Which
I like
is?
to go. Which is Deontay Wilder.
Oh
and
yeah,
King Kong
oh
Ortiz.
yeah. I
It's
think Ortiz is going to give him a problem.
I don't.
Is Ortiz in shape? I haven't seen him.
I don't know
On
if
the
he's
scale.
in shape. I don't know if he's,
Ortiz hits hard.
I don't know if
and
he's juicing. And see, I don't know if he hits hard.
he does hit hard. You know he hits hard. But the problem is that Wilder likes to fight down. But he might come out and try to kill him. But the problem is that last time he knocked out your man, he wasn't fundamentally sound. I didn't
That's
like
not
to see
true.
that.
Yeah, and you know that's not true.
He wasn't fundamentally sound.
He wasn't fundamentally sound after he got him in trouble.
He wasn't fundamentally
came
sound
out-
before he
that's
went.
not true.
He went swinging
came out-
wide and
that's
everything
not
else.
true. He came out popping the jab. You talked about it. You
Yeah,
reviewed
he
the
did.
thing.
He did. He did pop
came
the
'cause
jab
we
in
had
the
just
beginning.
spoken with him,
Yeah.
and we both were like, "Damn, sound like he took that conversation to
Yeah.
heart." He came out super fundamentally sound.
But the
which
fight
opened
only
up-
lasted like what?
which opened up him to get wild. Woo! Wild Squad.
Bomb Squad.
And so I think personally, I think Ortiz is getting stopped. I'm with Wilder. I think Wilder's going to.
I think he can beat him, but I think he's going to get knocked down.
No, Ortiz is a lefty, and the lefties, they give everybody problems.
Yeah, he's a hard hitter, but Ortiz, you know what? He starts out slow. He's sort of like a plotter, and Wilder's a little, like I said, he fights a little sloppy. He gets out of his fundamentals sometimes, and that's what puts you on your back. And with the heavyweights,
You can't mess around. Again, it can put you to sleep.
and you know what? I wanted to tell you, your man reminds me of I'm going to say Trey Lyles, Ron Lyles,
Who's that?
your man from
A little bit, huh?
yeah.
Big baby Jarrell.
yeah.
Maybe so. Ron Lyles.
I just watched that.
rewatched that Ron Lyles
George Foreman
fight.
again. That's one of the best
I
fights
showed it
ever.
to somebody, and they hadn't seen it, and I was like,
Are you crazy?
Hello? They were talking about how they didn't like heavyweights.
That's
I was
one of-
like, man, you're crazy.
That's one of the best fights ever.
It
I
is.
just watched it today.
If you get time, go queue up on YouTube Ron Lyles versus George Foreman. It's
Oh my goodness.
4 or 5 of the most action-packed rounds that you've ever seen ever. In
Well,
the
you're going to
squared
watch
circle.
George Foreman get dropped in 2 times in 1 round and get up.
Why are you telling them what's going to happen in the fight?
Because they're probably not going to watch it. I just want to let them know. I want to give them a tease. I can't tease you.
Hey, don't dip your toe in it, brother.
Don't be a tease.
Don't be a tease. Don't do it. Nobody likes a tease. Now, on that same card on Showtime, you got OZone homie Andre Durrell versus Jose Uzcategui. I don't know how to say his name. Uzcategui. Damn it, Uzcategui. Hate not knowing how to say people's name. But this is a rematch of a big controversial fight that happened earlier, and I'm very excited to see what goes down. I'm a big fan of the Durrell brothers. I'm a big fan of Flint, Michigan. The people need help out there. They still haven't got their water situation together.
That's crazy.
And then it's another failure of the government. And so that should be a good card. But on the other on HBO, there's also a good card going down because that's when the Crusher is fighting. The Crusher is fighting Igor Milkalkin. Man, I just need somebody to get a normal name for me to help me out. Just one time. I'm sorry. I sound like a dummy
Igor sounds
now.
all right. Why don't you just say Igor?
He's fighting Igor. Sergey's fighting Igor.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe
there's
I'll
not that many of them out there to say, like, oh, okay, he's just fighting Igor. There's
fighting
not that
Igor.
many in the league.
And now what is going to be an interesting fight is that other kid that we sat next to, Dimitri, is fighting Sullivan Barrera. And that's serious business. Sullivan, actually, I've seen train. He worked out down at the Fifth Street Gym down in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, this is going to be an interesting. Sullivan's a homie. We'll see what comes about from there. Yeah, man, I like Deontay, and yeah, it can get wild, but I think he's going to be focused. And just after speaking to him, he's really.
It sounds like it, but if he's not focused, King Kong could put him to sleep.
I mean, this is the heavyweights.
Yeah, this is the
it could
heavyweights.
definitely happen.
I'm just disappointed in the heavyweight division because there's just not a lot of quality opponents out there.
It's a small circle.
Yeah.
It's a squared circle, Randy Piper.
Yeah, because Joshua is probably going to have a little problem. I think that he should be able to beat Parker, but he's going to have a little problem as well.
Well, I think, and one thing that I think that we can talk about, I don't think King Kong Ortiz is actually 37. And 37 is old in boxing terms,
Yes.
but in Cuban 37 with no documents is a very suspect
37.
I'm going to go out here and say for our baseball listeners, it's a Ruben Sierra 37. or if not a Rube, it's a Julio Franco 37.
What about Pujols?
Albert Pujols is currently 65 years old. And he still hits 40 bombs.
Hits 40 bombs. The average drop, but
He
he hits
still
the
go
bomb.
deep on you and hobble down the first. He's like me. It's awesome. We get some sad news in the world of boxing. British lightweight heavyweight Scott Westgarth actually died after a dub.
This is crazy, right?
Yeah, he got a dub on points out in the UK, and they took him to the hospital, and he had been knocked down by his opponent, but suddenly it seemed like he was in pain in the post-fight interview, and he passed away, man. It's just something to let you guys know. We talk about it, we laugh about it and whatnot, but honestly, as Abel Sanchez told me, and many have said before, boxing is the only sport you don't play. And it's not a game.
Anthony Durrell said the same thing.
It's very, very serious.
Yeah.
It is. You have to take this stuff. Anybody that's getting in that ring deserves, credit, full credit. So this is, it's a sad day there. I just want to send prayers out to his family. They have a GoFundMe, actually, if you're interested in donating to his family, because they're going to be in a hard way for a little bit. All right, let's move on a little bit. We got a caller who wants to speak on the constant state of scandal that the NCAA is in. Did you see this thing where the numbers got leaked of what they're leaking to these kids?
Yeah, but why is everybody surprised? I mean, it's just like we're turning our heads and act like it's not going on. You know that this is going on.
I think everybody's surprised because some of the numbers were so low. I think it would be like if people saw some of Hollywood actors' numbers, and they'd be like, "Wow,
really?"
That's I'll stick with my day job. Actually,
I think that what brought the price down nowadays is that all these guys are one and done.
So you think that the teams can't afford?
Well, they can afford, but why would you pay so much? Because usually they would stay in there. Back in the day, they would stay in there for 4 years, just about, and you can milk that name forever. You very rarely can even remember most of the time where these guys go to school now. They just go in and they're out. They're in and they're out.
Unless you're really, really into college. I mean,
right. You have to be really into college. Programs,
you go to a Duke if you want to go for 4. But you go with a guy like Patino or, you go, base. You go with these other dudes who want to do that. On the line right now, what's your name now? You used to be Next Victim. Then you moved in to Do It for the Tipper. What is your name? Expert Analysis?
I like Do It for the Tipper. With so much crime and stuff going out there, don't want to be called as Next Victim.
Oh, that's real. That's a positive adjustment. I can appreciate that.
I like that in 2018.
I like we all the way up.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm glad you brothers like it. I'm glad you like it.
No doubt. Well, what else we'd like to hear about is your take on the college basketball scandal. In general, the NCAA is taking a lot of black eyes. And it seems like, it's one thing that the Icons were just saying was, it seems like the shocking scandal is because the numbers are way lower than what I remember them to be when I was in high school and in college. Because those guys, forget about it. They got paid, they got cars, and they got luxury apartments in the whole nine. These kids are going out for 10 and 12, 15 G's. Like, wow, you kids are going out young.
Didn't they offer someone 100 though? Somebody got offered 100.
Yeah, the kid from Arizona, Dayton, he got 100 stacks.
So, what's your take on the why with this thing, and where does it go from here? We're talking about the FBI. These are published documents from the FBI's investigation.
Wiretaps.
Man, I don't. Real talk, I don't know why. It hurts me because I'm a big college fan. It hurts me just to know that this is going on, or that it's actually coming out to the public. We all know it's been going on for years, and I don't know if it's being trickled down because of the NBA getting, with the gambling thing or what. But like say when we were in college, everyone was getting paid for 4 years that they were there.
Right.
And now the AAU aspect is taken completely over, that, a kid can come from Brazil or come from Jamaica or come from Hawaii. And,
I haven't seen that hot Jamaican recruit.
Wasn't Buddy Hield? Buddy Hield is from Jamaica, isn't he?
Buddy Hield was Jamaican, but Buddy Hield did the 4 years.
Yeah.
But, it's these kids are getting paid. These kids' parents are getting paid.
They should.
They should. They absolutely. You're right. They absolutely should. But the actual school is making millions and millions of dollars and these
I mean, it's
kids
a billion-dollar
are not
industry.
getting anything.
Okay, now let's
So-
go with here because this is something that I've found to be surprisingly much less controversial than what I thought it was. Did you guys happen to watch the NBA game where at the half Jalen Rose advised all of the NCAA
Do not
players?
play in the tournament.
Wow, how about that? Jalen Rose, who I am 100% sure got blue chip because that Fab Five team was
Yeah,
the
everybody.
most outrageous-
Everybody.
everybody back then got blue
Yeah.
chip. Jerry Tarkanian on the scene.
Come on, man.
And-
Tark
and-
didn't play.
Tark didn't play. Get these kids paid up real quick and let's get this dub. And so he told them, he said, yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can find that clip. He was like, this is the time for activism. Kids, sit out. Because everybody in the world right now, including myself, is filling out a bracket for the NCAA March Madness tournament, and you guys aren't getting anything out of it.
That's great.
But,
That's great.
but you know what? And I went back and forth after he said that statement. My first reaction was like, oh, wow, he said that. But Jalen Rose is able to say that right now because he already got paid. So
Of course.
The NCAA tournament is like the NFL Combine. You got these smaller schools and these players that's coming on to the big dance where everyone is gambling and everybody is watching. So you can be a small school and ball out, and hey, now you're invited to participate in the NBA Summer Jam or Summer League.
I actually like Summer Jam. They can go out there with Ice Cube and Snoop.
I thought the Summer Jam was WWE.
Yeah, I thought that was Summer Slam.
Oh, Summer Slam. It is.
This Summer Jam, you thinking? I'm thinking Power 106 or maybe 93.5 K-Day
On your FM dial.
Summer Jam.
Summer Jam. Somebody gotta get shot.
On the way out.
On the way out.
At least you do get to listen to the concert. You do get the concert.
That's going to cause more controversy for the FBI if they had the Summer Jam and they had the Summer Slam and then for the NBA. It's like, man.
So let's listen to Jalen Rose real quick for anybody who didn't hear.
The NCAA realized that they were some of the top programs in the country, and before you know it, players got cleared. Like, you guys ain't gonna mess with our bottom line. You're not gonna affect the PR that goes into the NCAA tournament. Y'all will not mess with our money. If we have to go back and vacate some wins later, then we'll worry about it then. But right now, you guys ain't getting in our pockets. Hindsight is always 20/20. And there was a time when I was in college, John Thompson, a leader of men who just so happened to be a terrific basketball coach, was boycotting, in theory, the inequality that he felt took place from the Prop 48 system. So much so, at the beginning of basketball games, before the tip, he would walk off as his frame of reference to boycott.
Okay.
We caught wind of that at the University of Michigan. I felt like it was a noble thing. Had that protest continued, you never know. Maybe we would have participated in it. As I look at that as a backdrop, I wish NCAA players understood the power that they now have. In a climate of so many things that are changing, so many discussions that have now come to the forefront that have been closeted for so very long, for a multitude of reasons, I wish NCAA players would exercise that power by boycotting the NCAA tournament.
So you
Wow. I mean, that's a big statement. And it's big and it's not. Just like Tipper said, he got his cheese.
Yeah, but another thing, too, is that you take a chance of getting hurt in that tournament as well. And then you can kill your cheese. So I can look at it from that point, too. I mean,
But then you also take a chance on rising your stock. You look at a kid like that DeAndre Fox, who shut down Lonzo Ball last year. I don't think his name is De'Aaron Fox. And he shut down Lonzo Ball, and that actually raised his stock big time.
yeah, but you know what? A lot of those kids, their ceiling. They've already reached their ceiling. So
Well, in the words of Michael Jordan, the ceiling is the roof. So,
and the roof is on fire.
that's in the words of George Clinton. But yeah, so I feel like the scenario is one that takes real merit. First and foremost, I don't know how much we can trust Jalen Rose because Kobe Bryant busted his ass for about 81.
Yeah, and then he was slapping high fives
and
at the
he
end of
was
the
so
game.
happy that Kobe had got him, dug him out.
I can't never accept that.
I couldn't accept that. Do it for the Tipper. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening.
And now, regardless of that, I am jealous because I wanted to go to the University of Michigan because it was awesome. because if you were born in the 70s, the University of Michigan was where you wanted to go play sports in college. And but he brings up a great point. Everybody's making money but these kids. We've spoken about it before, and now all of a sudden, to me, this is like when the police bust prostitutes.
Right.
You know that there's prostitution going on. They call it the oldest profession in the world for a reason. Why are you surprised that the prostitution is happening? Either you sanction the prostitution or you don't. And what's happening now is just like with prostitution in most cities, they're kind of just turning a blind eye to it. And every now and then there's a raid, you know, and we're in the raid period right now.
But we're in the raid period, and the coaches that get busted, who the biggest pimps, and then what happens? The coach is going to go off to another school and make millions of dollars.
Pete Carroll?
He's got to lay low for a little bit.
Pete Carroll destroyed USC and then went over to the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's getting out of town, too. He messed up that organization.
Yeah.
I mean, he got him in the ring, though. Why you trying to front?
He got the ring. He should have had a couple of them. He played.
I think he got a couple of them with USC, too.
Yeah, but he hurt the program.
Do you hurt the program when you bring home the ring?
Yes, because you're talking about the future.
J.R.R. Tolkien. You're the Lord of the Rings.
He's not the Lord of the Rings, though. He would have been the Lord of the Rings if he would have stayed there and got blinged up on every finger. Not one or two.
Lord of the Rings because he made them relevant once.
There you go. Thank you, Tipper.
You ask most people, and USC, Pete Carroll hurt the system.
No,
what are you doing? You did a survey?
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
You did a USC Los Angeles survey?
I did. All it takes is 3 people to have a survey. Everybody knows that. Get your act together, Miller.
This is what I grew up with, ladies and gentlemen. This was my guide. This is who I got.
See how it worked out for you? It worked out for you.
Yeah, so bad.
You only need 3 people. Everybody knows that. That's
Everybody
a survey.
knows that. That's a survey. Yes, no, and maybe. Come on, do it.
That's the funniest thing that I've heard all week. That is hilarious. Anyways, whether or not Pete Carroll ruined USC's college football program.
I bet you're going to have people hit you. People going to be like, he did do it, dude. He did. Watch. I want you to send them straight over to me, too, so I can help them out their life. I'm a life coach now. I'm taking over.
He's a life coach. Oh, this is too funny. Wow. Anyways, Tipper, as you were saying, so now you have this situation. What's going to happen? A guy goes, he gets fined, he gets boycotted or exiled for a little bit. He goes to another school, or like T was saying, he goes to the professional arena and does his thing and continues to get paid. Kind of reminds me of what's going on in the world of entertainment with this purge of all the sexual harassment stuff.
Right.
These guys are getting drummed out of the league, but most of them are getting drummed out of the league to the tune of whatever fortune they were able to build.
Right.
You lose the public shaming element, but.
And then a few years, all will be forgiven and they'll be back. Yeah, no question. And I mean, as far as the Me Too movement and everything,
I think they're out the league.
Yeah, I don't think that they're out. I think that they're going to come back under another name, basically, and start writing and producing and everything else all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's just that FBI scare where everyone, is going to, be nervous for a couple of years. Either some of these coaches are going to end up going to the NBA, or some of these players are going to decide to jump into the G League, and then, just till it calms down to the next big wave come and take over. What needs to happen, I believe, is that they need to come a little bit harder on these AAU scouts and teams, because they're the ones that's causing all of this pain for NCAA.
But why? How can you come down on them? That's just a league that you can start. Anybody can start a league. They're not governed or sanctioned or anything else. So that's me putting together a team of kids and having them pay me to play. So how can you put some pressure on AAU?
Because AAU is kind of like branding these kids to go to these different schools.
Good.
Okay.
How do you
So
come
now-
up with the financial element of who gets paid what?
Yeah.
This is the real question.
They're basically
They
a
need
farm
to come
system
up-
for the
they need
college,
to come
right?
up with a system. They need to come up with a system where these kids are actually getting paid. You know, it has to happen because the NCAA is making too much bread off of these kids. Off of these kids that's playing 1 and 2 years. Now, you know, the fortunate part about it, the ones that's not as good as the 1 or 2 years, they're playing, you know, they're getting their scholarship. But after that, what's happening to them? Are they going overseas? Or are they getting breaded out? Or are they just getting a good education? You know, some of these coaches, you know, if they love the game so much and if they're doing so much for the NCAA, do they need to take a pay cut? Should there be a pay scale for them?
I think it should be revenue share.
Okay, but then once, you know, what about the shoe company that's getting involved?
The shoe company's not supposed to be involved. That's almost like lobbying. They shouldn't be involved.
Obviously, we have a lot to work out. There's a lot to go on, but what I think most people in my survey will
taking a survey.
recognize is that I've taken a survey.
How many people?
I will keep it quiet. I will say it's at least 3. It's above 3.
Okay, that's where 3 are in the midst. Come on, man.
The Lord is present.
The Lord is present. He only needs 3. Come on, man. 2 or 3. Let's do it.
This dude.
I'm going to do one too. And I only got 10 Twitter followers. So.
Oh, man. This is hilarious. Well, I think that, I think that was that. I don't know. I think the kids got to get paid, and that's pretty much all it is to it.
I don't think that they need to get big cheese. I just think that they need money to survive, like rent money and stuff, even though you're giving them room and board. The education, the piece of paper is not worth what it used to be. And so you just need to put something in their pocket. I mean, so that they can survive through the school year.
But how can you do that when you have a blue chip scholar athlete, McDonald's All-American, that's coming in there, but then you have just a regular scholarship kid?
So what do you mean? How can you do that? The regular scholarship kid knows that he's not good enough to get that kind of money.
Why not? He's at
Give
the
him
same
partial
school.
scholarship. Why not? Why he can't? Give him a partial scholarship.
He's at the same school as you, so he should be able to get the same amount of cheese as you.
But herein lies the problem. Herein lies the problem.
It's not a problem.
There's no organization or body who sits above the NCAA. First and foremost, that's a problem. And so there's no checks and balances there. And then within the NCAA, obviously there's no clear-cut body who's going to say, okay, this is what should happen. Instead, they turn a blind eye to the whole thing, and we run into this problem that we have now. Which is
but the checks and balances are the numbers, because everybody knows that this blue chipper that you're talking about and everything else, this McDonald All-Star, whoever he is, if he's putting up numbers and
his name is Ronald, all right?
Okay, does he have red hair? and he's putting up these numbers.
That's a funny uniform.
Then we know what he's supposed to give us. Where is it that you get rewarded for losing? There's no place in the United States where you get rewarded for losing. So,
unless you're Donald Trump,
unless you're Donald Trump,
the vote.
But guess what?
Still end up winning.
We're going to see what's going to happen with him in 3 more years. I don't think that even the women are turning on him now.
I don't know.
2 more. You got 2.
I think he can.
You don't think he's going to make it?
I think he can count on white women. Unfortunately,
no.
Either way it goes, do it for the tipper. Last and not least, is Zaza Pachulia dirty? Can we confirm it?
Yeah, he's dirty. He did what he did to Kawhi Leonard last year.
Yeah, we confirmed that last year, remember?
Well, but we got it. I do remember, brother. I just asked the question. I can't ask you the man is dirty. Don't make me call you crusher, dude. Yeah. So Zaza, now he falls on Russell Westbrook. The guy's a giant.
They need to get him out of the league. He's terrible. He's going to ruin other people's career.
Yeah, but he's not going to ruin anybody on the Warriors'
career. What size does he wear? Size 18 or something like that?
So they get a walk again. It'll always, somehow or another, it'll always end up with these guys so that they end up with a walk, and it just makes me sick.
I shoot a jumper. This dude puts his size 18s under me when I come down and then says it's an accident. And you watch him do it.
You watch him several times.
Yes, and the NBA doesn't do anything. Forget about that. What about when he could pull Kawhi Leonard down by his arm?
Twice that game. He did it twice.
Yeah.
So it's we know it's dirty, but every team in the NBA need one of those dirty players.
No, nobody needs anybody who's going to go out there and hurt somebody intentionally. But what I would do, honestly, I would give me a 10-day contract just to get Zaza.
He'd have to be a
But you
very
don't
big
lose.
dude.
No, he doesn't. I need to get under him. I go low bridge.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a okay,
There's
man. I'm sorry. Your contract is up.
There's a 10-day contract out there right now for you.
How much is it?
Hey, Zaza.
How much is it? We saw Zaza.
Zaza just walked in and he can't fit in the doorway.
He's a Cro-Magnon.
Oh, but then why you gotta? Why that's messed up? Why you gotta call back?
Man, you saw it. You saw it for real.
Zaza's enormous. That's a big guy.
He's a giant.
Solid. He is solid.
He's a really big guy.
But I get under him for the right amount. I
Wow.
slip my foot under him and go low.
This he dip his toe. Well, this is a revealing conversation with Terry Miller, folks. A revealing conversation. All right, do it for the tipper. Last thing, who do you got this weekend? Deontay Wilder or Luis Ortiz?
I got Deontay in 4.
And
Wow.
4. Yeah, see that I feel the same way. I think actually think he's gonna blow through him.
You really think he's gonna blow through him, huh?
I have no respect for him, especially then when you find out that he's juicing after the fact.
Yeah, but you find out
Truth
most of
be
these cats
told,
are dirty.
honestly, if I was Deontay, 2 months isn't enough to get the juice out of your system. I don't think so. I mean, he's still feeling the effects, the positive effects of the juice. That's pretty bold of him. You know, the fight was supposed to be in November, early November, late October, right?
Well, I'm sure they tested him.
No, they certainly tested him. But hopefully he's not on law. But hopefully he lets me borrow some because I need to get big to go conduct my next survey.
You need.
You got to pick the people up. Is that your survey? You lifting the people?
My survey is about giving people the knockout drops.
You got to get your survey people up.
That's
Your
it.
survey people up.
I'm going to call it the Richard Dawkins.
How about Dawson?
No, I'd rather prefer Richard Dawkins. Oh, man. All right. Thank you, Next Victim / Do It for the Tipper. We'll retire Next Victim from now on because you're no victim in 2018. You're doing it for the Tipper.
Okay.
No one should be a victim.
There it is. Out. Moving on, folks. Real quick tennis piece. We're sliding into tennis season now.
It's tennis season.
And I'm very excited about it. And somebody that we admire has made a big stride. The young kid, Francis Tiafoe, who took Roger Federer to 5 sets in the first round at the U.S. Open this past August, September. This kid just won his first ATP title. So I just want to give love and a shout out to Francis. He won the Delray Beach Open and really happy for him moving into the season. We got a big tournament coming up starting next week in Indian Wells in Palm Springs. Should be a good time out at the desert. Check out the tennischannel.com if you want to get more information. They got heavy coverage. They got a great event out there called Desert Smash. And you might just run into us. You never know.
Never know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up with you to talk about our favorite sports. Actually, our favorite sport. Just one. And it's with a guy named Noah Syndergaard bringing cheese today.
Yeah.
You see this? I guess his lad is all right.
Yeah.
Noah Syndergaard topped 100 miles an hour 11 times today in his debut. He was probably so
debut.
excited. He loves dealing.
He does. That's what great
And
pitchers
he's
do.
mean.
They love dealing.
Man,
I mean, his 2-seamers are looking nice.
I mean, good work. I missed the action today. I had to work all day today.
Yeah,
But I saw Justin Verlander.
threw a nice
Justin
2-seamer.
Verlander was not who you wanted to see.
He carved him up.
So, the news is the son of immigrant pizza flippers, JD Martinez, signed a $110 million deal with the Boston Red Sox. Now, one thing that the Icons have been promoting ever since this deal was floated is that, and I think we talked about it on air, we talked about it a lot off air, is that the Red Sox lineup with JD Martinez makes their lineup close to, if not equal to, the Yankees lineup. A lot of controversy about this. Tell me the why.
Well, for some reason, everybody equates slugging to hitters. You know, there's a big difference in being a great hitter and being a slugger. The Yankees lineup is filled with sluggers, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing as far as people would like to watch the long ball or whatever. But the Boston Red Sox, because I'm not like a crazy Red Sox fan, but you have to call it what it is. Their lineup through 9 is, I would take it over the Yankees. You have Ben Attendee, you have Devers, that young kid. You have also Hanley Ramirez. You have JD Martinez. JD Martinez, though, has been averaging around 40 home runs for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's the
last
thump.
year he put up 45.
The thump that they've
And they
been
were all
missing
against the Dodgers.
But the thump that they were missing was, from when Big Papi left.
Yeah, and you had guys playing through injuries.
And
Mookie
you have
Betts was playing with a messed up thumb.
right, but they have defense. The Yankees' defense is not the same as the Boston Red Sox defense.
But we're just talking about lineups. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the team. I'm talking about lineups.
But the pitching comes down to the lineups. The pitching and the lineups. It's going to have a difference in the games
For sure.
especially when they go head up. You're talking about Drew Pomeranz, David Price, Chris Sale. The Yankees will come out with Severino and CC Sabathia and Tanaka with a string. I mean, come on, dude. I have to go with the Red Sox.
I'm going to have to see how it all plays out. But I do know that this is going to be a fantastic baseball
It's going to be a
season.
fantastic. But
I think
neither
you're
one of them are
playing
better than the Astros.
I think that you're playing the Yankees short, and the Astros pitching staff. I think people really selling Garrett Cole short.
He carved him up today.
I think he had that situation. He picked
Yesterday.
I think he had that situation where the arbitration scenario where he has to sit around and listen to his team bash him. And that was about 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, that was right when we started the podcast.
Right. They just did that to Marcus Stroman in Toronto.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has a crappy year. It doesn't work well. It's not a good tool. Like that, you just
To hear your employer run you down.
yeah, it's just not good. But in this scenario, the Yankees don't have only sluggers. Actually, Giancarlo hit over 300. He was like, it's real. And Aaron Judge was knocking on the door of 300. Didi Gregorius can flat out hit, and you know that. Now, after that,
You have question marks.
You have people love Gary Sanchez. I've had a bunch of Yankee fans try to tell me that people say he's the best hitter in the organization. How you can take Gary Sanchez over Didi? Truth be told, you can give me Didi after what I saw in the playoffs. Give me Didi over everybody.
Yeah, and see, this is what I'm talking about
Let me finish what I was saying. So what I think is the lineup itself is going to be key.
right.
Who they put where is going to be key, because
So that's in Aaron Boone's court.
that ball is in Aaron Boone's court, and I think it's a lot easier for the Red Sox to put their lineup together. I think it's a lot clearer who should go where in comparison to the Yankees have an embarrassment of riches, if you will.
Right.
And I think it's going to take a little while to put together, because even when you have all the names, just like how the Lakers had that crazy team,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of teams that have crazy mega teams. There's chemistry. It's a team sport, and you always need your team to be compiled in the right way together. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It's the same thing everywhere in every sport. And so until they figure out that magic lineup, which they have so much talent, it could happen immediately. And let's talk about that Brandon Drury pickup.
Brandon Drury is a great pickup because he's a young kid that actually has pop, and he's a good defender. He can play multiple positions, and he's
going to mash in
Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's one of the best pickups that they had this year. I feel like
Drury's a stud, man.
I mean, I feel like Giancarlo Stanton. Everybody would like to have him on their team,
of course,
but it's overkill. You have Greg Bird. You have a lot. I would go with defense.
I don't know if it's overkill. That's talking about.
I mean, can you have enough?
Yeah,
the embarrassment of riches.
Hitting 60
But the
bombs.
same thing that you're talking about with Didi Gregorius is what I'm talking about with the Red Sox, because the Red Sox lineup is filled with a bunch of guys like Didi Gregorius.
I understand, but you're just talking about a different style of baseball. What happened, if you look, I saw a stat on Major League, on MLB TV today that was pretty telling. And what they were talking about was the teams that finished in the bottom 3 in home runs last year also finished in like the top 3 in losses. The Giants had less than however many home runs, and they ended up with 98 losses.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox had a problem, and they did not end up with a ton of losses, but they ended up getting bounced because they couldn't put the ball out of the stadium.
Right.
The game has changed, and that's something that you have to appreciate. Now, when we get to the playoffs, and when you get in tight games, you would still rather have Ricky Henderson on your team than anybody else that's ever played the game, probably, except for maybe Ozzie Smith. Because in the 1-0 game or in the 0-0 game in the 7th inning, if you could come up with a WAR stat, there's no chance anybody's higher than Ricky Henderson.
Right.
Because a guy like Ricky, a guy that can then run and that can a tight game, you need those guys. I don't think anybody nowadays is planning on trying to play a tight game. This is my issue.
Yeah, but if you go with the Red Sox rotation, like I was just going over with the Yankees rotation, I would have to go with the Red Sox because they're sending out David Price, Chris Sale, and Drew Pomeranz. Drew Pomeranz is a sleeper cell. He was 17-6 last year. Yeah, he had a 3.32 ERA and 174 strikeouts and 173 innings. Good pitching stops home runs. It stops. The only thing that
certainly stops home runs.
Yeah,
that's not even
the only thing that is not going to stop is speed. Other than that, but the Yankees don't have a lot of speed. That Brandon Drury brings something, a dynamic to the team that they really don't have, because he can steal bags as well. Him and Didi Gregorius can run amok. But you have a logjam out there because now you have Brett Gardner and who else? Ellsbury's still there. Hicks. So what's your outfield looking like?
Because you're gonna start. You got four outfielders that's got to play, basically. And one of them is gonna slot in the DH.
Right.
The four guys got to play. And you did not get Stanton to sit him. You're not sitting Aaron Judge.
No.
You know what I mean? These are two guys that got to play. So
and
now there's two more spots.
Right. And Frazier's an up-and-coming stud.
And Frazier said he's out there to win. He said, you can ask me every day if you want to. I'm out here to win the spot. I don't care who we picked up. That's what he said.
I heard that.
I like that. And
yeah.
he is a stud.
Yeah, but I bet you they send him back to the minor leagues. Because it's going to be, listen, watch this in a couple of months. It's going to be the old song and dance. Yeah, we want this kid to get some at-bats.
Yeah. And
because there's not enough at-bats for him.
And what I think they should do is they should trade him and get a frontline starter because he's a stud.
He is, but
they should trade him and get a top line starter. They really should have got Garrett Cole. They really should have got Garrett Cole, in my opinion.
You know what? But I think it got to the point with the Yankees where a lot of teams said, you know what, we're not going to trade to him because the Yankees really wanted Manny Machado, but the owner of the Orioles said, we're not giving him Manny Machado. I'm not going to let them.
I'm never going to get the Yankees Manny Machado.
I'm never going to give the Yankees Manny Machado.
Now they're talking about he might go to the Red Sox.
and the Red Sox will be completely bananas.
The Red Sox will be the best team in baseball.
They would be the best team in baseball.
Manny Machado. Yeah. Now, the other thing to speak about is the remaining free agents who I would imagine are out there, in the MLBPA training facility, getting themselves together, still just preparing for the call. The biggest name I would say out there is Mike Moustakas. Moose had a monster year last year.
Yeah.
He hit 38 bombs.
The Yankees were trying to get him, though. They're still trying to get him. And
see, now this is where I think you mess up. I think if you get Moose and you got Drury, I think this is where you mess up because you're going to mess up somebody's mind.
Yeah, but see, that's the point. They have that kid Gleyber Torres that they're supposed to be bringing along as well.
There you go.
And he's going to have to go back down to the minors because he's not going to be able to get it back. So because you have Brandon Drury, and then if you bring in Moustakas, then where are they going to play?
If I was San Diego, I would get Moose.
I would too.
I would get Moose and let him play with Hosmer
and be the West Coast Royals
and be the West Coast Royals and let them figure out because they got pitching. The Padres got pitching coming. I'm sure they got some guys they can pull out. And
Danielson Lamet.
Yeah, that kid was a stud last year. Wow. And you know what I mean. And you have a guy like Moose, and you bring these two guys who know how to win, and you let them play with Will Myers. You let them play with
Will Myers is actually, I think, from their organization anyway.
And you let
from the Royals,
and you let them play with what was the big boy that started mashing last year, Hunter Renfroe. You let him play with Hunter. You let him play with friggin' Hunter Renfroe, bro. And they got another stud over there. And
they have quite a few young kids who are up and coming. They traded Jabari Blash, and he got they released him too. He got traded and then released. I think to the Yankees, right?
I'm not sure. You got Luke Roy that's still out there, which is a surprise to me. I think that what ended up. I don't know if I don't know what it is about him. He moves around a lot more than a high-end catcher would move around.
Especially for a guy who carries stick like him.
Yeah, and he calls a good game. He's a good catcher. Now then you got one that I'm not crazy about, which is Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo is out there still.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to go to, honestly, I think he's going to go to a loser that is just going to look to fill seats and, is rebuilding or something like that.
Yeah, but then
I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in the Tampa Bay.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if he put up big numbers because now he's got to rebuild his brand, as they say.
So that he can get paid.
Yeah, so he can get paid because
I bet you he's signed a 1 or 2 year deal. Yeah. Goes out.
Because
he can mash.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys who don't play all the time.
He doesn't give it to you all the time.
Yeah.
You never feel like you've watched full Cargo for 162 games.
No. You watch him in Oakland before when he was coming up and you're like, oh, okay, this guy's real. And then he went to Colorado and he was like, yeah, man, I'll play 85, 90 games. I'm not interested in 162.
And what's interesting to me is there's a lot of guys out there, even despite the way that the home runs are being so praised now, there's a lot of home run hitters who can't find a job.
Right. JD Martinez was one of them.
Well, no, you know what they said? They come to find that the holdup on that deal.
He had some kind of medical problem, right?
Yeah, they were concerned about extending for the medical problem. It wasn't a years thing. It was some language. It was some verbiage. So it was happening. But I'm talking about guys like Mark Reynolds, Lucas Duda, Joey Bats, your man,
Joey Bats is
Mike Napoli.
Joey Bats is at the end of his career. Mike Napoli is a swing and miss guy. All these guys you're talking about are swing and miss.
Exactly, but this is what the sluggers are. People act like that's okay now.
But these guys are on the other side of the game now. They're on the other side of the mountain right now. Lucas Duda Lucas Duda's never had a great season. Joey Bats has had a great season, but Joey Bats is what, 36, 37?
Yeah, Lucas Duda. I feel like Lucas Duda really signed his own ticket when he didn't throw out Hosmer at home plate for the World Series.
You can't forgive him.
I don't think anybody can. Mets fans certainly can't forgive him. But I think baseball in general saw something out of him that they didn't appreciate in that moment.
Because he can hit the ball a country mile. That dude literally can hit the ball.
He's a big guy. He's one of those guys on the video game that doesn't fit in the batter's box.
Remember when we went to Dodger Stadium and they was telling us about when he took BP and how he was knocking down the letters?
Yeah. Look, this dude is a big boy, man.
Yeah.
He matches the ball.
But, you know, these guys that you're talking about now, Joey Bats, man, Joey Bats hasn't been good in like 3 years. He should retire now. He's done his thing.
Wow.
I mean, where's he going to go?
This is the Ozone, folks. Unfair and partial sports talk. This is, geez Louise.
Now you just need stocking stuffers. Give me a Joey Bats. Like a peppermint stick.
Jeez Louise. Just no respect.
No, I respect his game. His game was nice. I can't front on him, but he's finished.
Man.
The only way he can come back, I honestly believe, if he needs to go cycle of the juice, just like most of these guys in the contract year, and put up crazy numbers, and then you sign a contract for 3 or 4 years for about $200 billion, and then you go and stink the joint up.
Got to stink the joint up on your way out. That's
Right.
That's the only way baseball would have it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at you. We'll be more consistent, we promise. This has been a wonderful edition of the Ozone. You got any more news and notes you want to add?
Not unless we're going to talk more baseball.
Not unless you want to talk about surveys. Who do you got winning the American League?
Right now, I'm still staying with Houston. I mean, they pumped that system up with pitching. You got a crazy offense. How can you go against them?
I really want to see where Jake Arrieta, Alex Cobb,
What if they got Jake Arrieta?
Lynn
Wow.
Tell me, what if the Astros got Jake Arrieta? Oh, man, forget it.
Although I'm not impressed with him like that.
I think they would do better to get Alex Cobb. I think people really sleep on Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb is a really above-average pitcher, and if he had the opportunity to pitch for a winner, he pitched Tampa into contention at times.
And blew his elbow out, and now they're like, he's nothing. But I feel like the sleeper cell in the National League West is the Giants. People are asleep on the Giants. You got Andrew McCutchen now, and you got your
Longo.
Longo. Come on. That's a solid lineup.
Still the pitching. I mean,
the pitching, you have Madison Bumgarner?
He carved it. What do you mean? Madison Bumgarner threw out his shoulder on a motorbike last summer. You don't know what happened.
He went motorboat.
He went motorboat.
No, he's good. He was good last year. Then you got Johnny Cueto. I mean, come on, dude. No, Ty Block.
You have
Chris
Block.
Heston.
Yeah, this is now officially a survey. You have 4 men. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with a quote.
We only need 3.
From Isaac Asimov. There are no nations. There is only humanity. And if we don't come to understand that right soon, there will be no nations because there will be no humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. There's a lot of darkness and hate in the world. Don't let it overcome you. You have to be the light and let your light shine. And if not, go take a nap and reset your day. This is the Ozone. I'm your host, Omar Miller. Peace.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights.